Hello, welcome back to Push to Talk. I'm joined today by the Treston Henderson, actor, singer, dancer, musician, plays the drums, right? What else do you
Yeah,
do? What else do you do? You're an entrepreneur. You have
yeah,
a production company, right?
right. Yeah, I have a production company. I edit, an editor, so like I
Okay.
edit all the shows together, and um, yeah, dancer, singer, all that.
Okay, and we kind of met through a mutual friend a couple of years
uh,
back, and we haven't really kept up as much. And so I
yeah,
kind of just wanted to catch up on what you're doing, man. I know you kind of like you graduated, right?
right. I graduated
Okay.
in 2020. Well,
Yeah.
graduated, COVID.
Did they give you a formal like graduation yet, or
Yeah, yeah. So it was, I think it was in May. I
okay?
think it was. It was like the May of quarantine. We had to wait for so long. Or
Yes.
no. It's supposed to be in May. I think it happened in like September.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what it was. Because
Did
we
you
got out in March.
did you end up going to it?
Yeah, my mom made me.
Gotcha. I think like if my mom made me, I obviously would have went, but I think like if I had to make up my graduation, I wouldn't have wanted to go, you know?
Right. Yeah.
It's like
It
the
was kind of
feeling's
just like,
gone, the hype's gone.
right, right. It was kind of like, like
Yeah.
I was just
So
sitting, because I'd already got my diploma and everything. So
right. It's like
I just had
that's
to,
why I did it. It's not for the graduation.
right, right.
So what did you do right after graduation then?
So graduating, I moved back like with my parents. So they
Right.
moved to Bowling Green, Kentucky, um, which I'm originally from a small town called Oak Ridge, Tennessee, close to Knoxville.
Yeah.
But they moved to Kentucky, so I moved here. And then like I made the production company, I want to say it was June of 2020. And then it's because I was bored.
That was
So
kind
I
of a
was like,
baby of like COVID, right? That was kind of like
yeah,
I'm bored, I want to use the skills that I have. And did you kind of like front man that whole thing? Like were you the one that kind of had the idea and everything?
yeah. So actually I started Treston's, I think it was called Treston's Quarantine Duet Series. And I like brought people together and like especially like African American Black
Yeah.
people. I brought us together to like sing together and just show like Black joy because I was also in the midst of the Black Lives Matter movement,
Right.
and so I brought like Black people together just to like stick
Yeah.
together and sing, show happiness, joy, things like that. And then people were like, "Why don't you like do a show? Why don't you put all those talented people together, do a show?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"All right, why not?" So then, so then I got a show together, a Stevie Wonder show.
Is
And
it
then
like
I
a
edited it all
musical
together.
review?
Yeah, it was like a
Okay.
musical review just of Stevie Wonder music.
Okay.
Um, and so I got that together, got the people. And then after that, I was like, that was actually kind of fun. Like I could
Right.
maybe do something with this. So then I ended up making a company. I was like, I'll just call it Tristan J. Henderson Productions. My name, why not? You
Yeah.
know, let's do it. And so then I did it. And I was like doing all the editing, the casting, sending out the emails, arranging the music. Like I was doing all that by myself, like originally for like, I think it was about 3 shows. I think I
Yeah.
did everything just like by myself. And then after that, I got a friend and she started helping me. And then I was like, I need a lot of help. So I got a team and then we made a
Yeah.
season and put it together.
Well, see, that's so crazy to me. And don't take this the wrong way, but when I met you at Austin P, you seemed like a goofy dude. And like
Yeah,
I just can't imagine you like starting like a company and like doing all that. Like that's so
right,
impressive. I don't even think I
right,
could do that. That's insane.
right.
Um,
It's crazy.
and also like I noticed it like made you really well connected. Like you're constantly like like you congratulated this I don't know her name. Um, but it looks like she got into a show on Broadway. I saw it on your
Yeah,
story or something. Yeah.
yeah. The other thing
So it
was named
makes
Veronica. She got into Jagged
Veronica.
Little Pill. Yeah,
That's so cool. And it like it just I feel like that connected you with everybody in the space and in
yeah,
the community. And it's
most
just really
definitely.
cool.
Yeah,
Um,
it's kind of crazy. Like I was at an audition in New York a few weeks ago, and I was sitting there, and like a bunch of people, like they were all there, and they were all like, "Are you Treston?" And I was like, "Yeah. How do you? Who are you? How do you know me?" And it was like,
Yeah,
"We did one of your shows, and we've been seeing your shows." And I was like, "Oh, like people are actually like, oh, okay."
that is
Like,
so cool.
yeah, yeah. So it was kind of like now it's kind of nerve wracking. I'm like, every time I
Yeah,
walk around somewhere, people are like, "That's Tristan," or "That's Tristan," or
right.
so.
Are you
But I
interested
mean,
with
I wouldn't trade it.
staying there, or do you kind of want to also act and perform, or like, are you interested in doing both? Like, what's the plan there?
Yeah, so I want to do both, but
Okay.
like in order for my like company to really
Mm,
prosper and to go where I like really want it to go, like its end goal, I need to like have some things under my belt. So I need to do like a lot more shows, maybe Broadway, tours, cruise ships. Like I want to be able to do it
right.
all, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to do both, but I'll probably stick to acting for a few years, you know, and do the production company stuff on the side. But when I get
Right.
tired of that, I'll like rebuild it and like start making it to something that I really, really want.
Right.
So
And what do you, so is everything digital right now, virtual, for your
yeah,
company? Okay.
yeah. So everything's virtual. I plan on in January, if you know, um everything goes like I plan it. I plan on doing like a in-person show. So I'll
That's
probably go
so
back to
cool.
revisit. Yeah, I'll probably go back to revisit the first show we did, which was Stevie Wonder show,
Right.
and we'll do it in New York.
In New
And like,
York. That's so
yeah,
cool. How do you even get like venue space there? Do you just rent it?
yeah. So you rent the venue space. I'm actually about to start talking to some friends about like if I need to get like rights for the music, like what needs to go, you know, like what needs to
Right.
go into all of that. Because I want it to be more than like a musical review. I want it to be like a show using Stevie Wonder music,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense. Okay, so and the team, like how has that helped you to kind of realize it? Like what all goes on? Do you like have frequent meetings with them and like have to plan all this stuff? Like what does that look like?
yeah, so we have a company manager, a video editor, a casting director, um, a social media coordinator, and we have like a designer.
Right.
So we all get together, usually like once a month, and we just chat
Gotcha.
about like upcoming events, things we want. But if we get a show, we usually have like a month and a half, 2 months to put up a show. So like we're meeting like weekly, you know, and I'm
Gotcha.
constantly like sending them things to do, you know, and it's weird because like you said, I see myself as a goofy old
Yeah.
person, like who goes in a hall flipping, you know.
Yeah.
So like sometimes like for me to be like to think that I'm like in charge, you know, and it
Yeah.
has my name on it, like it all comes back to me. It's kind of like,
But when you get people to like work on those very specific niche tasks, you can kind of just focus on the vision side of things. And maybe that's
right,
like what you're doing. I feel like you'd be really good at that if that is kind of what
yeah,
you're doing.
yeah, yeah. So I come up with the order of the show, like I have like final say of everything. Like I'll
Yeah.
be like, I want to have purple, I want to have purple lights behind me, or I want to have this, I want to have that. You know, I just like say
Yeah.
things and then make it happen.
So you're kind of
So that
learning a
is
little bit
really
of like
cool.
light design too, and just all of that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it and a lot of work that we do, especially on the most recent show we did a Motown show, um, and we incorporated a lot of like green screens, blue screens, and things like that to like put things behind the actors, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so that was really
Man,
cool.
it's so weird because obviously you went to Austin P and it really doesn't matter where you go, but I feel like nothing could prepare you for like starting a virtual theater company because like everything you'd learned up to this point is like what to do on a stage, how to light a stage, how to do set
Mhm.
design on a stage, right?
Right,
And now you're like limited to this box. That's so
right,
crazy.
right.
Um, did you so like everybody was on Zoom, right? It wasn't like in a one space and you recorded that. It was literally everybody in their boxes, right?
Yeah. So actually, we didn't do it through Zoom.
Okay,
So what we did was, so like you have a plain wall, like I have right here,
right.
and I would tell them like self taping, like set up your phone, get a ring light, a tripod, whatever, and just video yourself from like here up, and then we'll do everything else. So everybody
Gotcha.
like sent individual videos, and then we like put them together, mesh them, and do that, because with green screen work, you know, you can take the background away and it's just them.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what we did for a lot of the shows. I never actually did a show like on Zoom.
Right.
I think Zoom would have been hard because it's like lagging and, you
Yeah.
know, all that
It's
type of
all
stuff. So I
exactly.
would sing everyone's part, and then I would like record it, put it through my microphone, like the interface, all that stuff. And I would mix it, and then I would send it to them so that they could listen to it and sing exactly what I'm singing, so that it matches up with everybody else. And then we just put it together.
How did you learn to do all that? Like you mentioned, like you would obviously edit the videos, you'd use like green screens, you would
Mhm.
mix and master. Like where I know you didn't learn that like in theater. Like what?
No, um, I was bored. So I literally just sat at home. I looked up YouTube videos.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, I looked up YouTube videos. I just started like on my computer, just going. I have a Mac, and I was just going and going and going, and just till things worked, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of my friends are straight theater, so
Yeah.
they don't, do a lot of this work.
Right.
So I was like, I can't really ask anyone because nobody really knows. Like they're asking me now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just had a love for it and I was bored. And I was like, I'm in the house literally 24 hours a day, like
Yeah. Man, that's so
doing it.
sick because like that literally sounds like one of those success stories that you hear. And like I 100% believe like that if you're not using, and that's why I started this podcast, if you're not using social media in some way or like some platform in some way, you're like missing out on an opportunity to like better yourself in some way or better the people around you, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like you perfectly used, like I shouldn't say used, but you took advantage of a really bad situation and made it
Yeah.
like work for you as well as the people around you, because like
Right.
now they all have a community within their own group, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they can talk to each other once the pandemic is like over, you know? Like that's
Right.
so cool, man. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
It's funny you say that. There's this thing called the Link program, and it's like a musical theater intensive.
Hmm.
And there were about, I think they accept maybe 12 people out of the hundreds of auditions that they get. And I think like six or seven of those people who got accepted all did one of my shows.
Are you serious?
And yeah, and they had got there
That's
and they were
insane.
like, "You look so familiar. Where do I know you from?" And then they were all like, "Treston show." Like that's what, so then they all
Yeah.
FaceTime, and I was like, but like all everybody's colliding, you know?
And back to the business side of things, like you can now say like had people do a trust in production that were like a part of this, right? Like you can kind of
Right.
use that. Exactly.
Right,
That's
right.
that's so
Yeah,
sick.
because I mean, we have a lot of like success stories. Like one of the girls, my friend Veronica, she
Veronica.
booked Jagged Little Pill
Yeah.
on Broadway. Like one of the girls is actually performing in the we have an award show coming up. And
I
one
was
of the
gonna ask
girls
about
that,
that. Very curious
huh?
about that. I was gonna ask about that. I'm very curious about the award
Oh
show.
yeah, we'll chat about that. But one of the girls that's performing in that, she just booked Lion King as Nala understudy, and in who is it? Saraba, something like that.
I'm
But
not sure.
she just booked that. So people are like having success stories all over. It's just like,
That's
wow, like
so cool. And
yeah. And it's like I
do you kind of
so
remember everybody that like seeing so many faces, do you seriously like remember each and every person? You're like, oh, they did this and they did this.
yeah, I remember their faces and their names, but I don't really remember like where they're from or like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
because we've had people from like Japan. So like
Are you
literally,
serious?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane. How do you
So
find these people? What?
that I found her because we did. Do you know Clubhouse? Do you hear of Clubhouse?
Like the thing where people can like present and talk and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we did like Clubhouse cabarets. So like on just like through your phone and just singing through your phone. And like Clubhouse included everyone from around the world. And so like I did auditions and I partnered with CH Cabaret Club. Um, and we got auditions from like all around the world. We got to just like sit there and watch people sing, you know, and
It's so hard for me to wrap my head around the fact, and I'm not just blowing smoke, but it's hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that you were just bored and just somehow discovered how to make perfect use of the internet in every single way.
yeah,
Like that's insane to me. Like Clubhouse, you hear about like these huge, like very successful, like multi-millionaires or whatever, entrepreneurs, but like
Yeah,
you took perfect advantage of the tool. Like that's crazy.
yeah,
Eh, eh,
yeah.
eh,
It was an experience, honestly. I mean, there's so many like little kinks that we go through,
Yeah,
and it's like I don't know what to do at this point, but you just make it work, like I believe you can't stop. You have to keep going.
that's a
Like,
that's a good point. And I was about to ask, did you have any like failures kind of along the way where you like learned like, oh, okay, that I need to
yeah,
do this next time?
right. So I wouldn't necessarily say failures. I would say setbacks. Like
Okay,
I had the first cabaret I did it with iMovie, and iMovie is terrible.
bad.
It's terrible. So I was like editing things with iMovie, trying to, my computer crashed. Like I lost all my stores, everything just like at some
No.
point I had to have people resend their song because I lost it.
Yeah,
Um, so there I was like, that was my first mistake. I probably should have just gotten something else, but I didn't know.
right.
But as far as like big setbacks,
Hmm.
I don't think I've actually had any. It was kind of hard to,
Flawless. He did it flawlessly. Let's
yeah,
go.
like the only thing I can think of is like sometimes because we streamed on Facebook, so sometimes like the
Gotcha.
live would get taken down because like somebody's music would be copyrighted or something. Like
Right.
that's the only thing that I would change. I'd be like, maybe I could do it on YouTube. But
Right.
as far as
Man.
like a big like total like bum fail thing, I haven't had any.
And it's so crazy because like again, I'm not blowing smoke, but it seems like such an easy thing to like have mistakes happen, right?
Yeah,
Like it seems so easy to mess up. And that's just crazy to me that you were able to like get it on its feet so well. So I'm really proud of you for doing that. That's crazy. Good job.
I appreciate you.
Um,
It's a time.
so tell me about the award show. Is that also part of your production company or is that a separate business?
Yeah, yeah. So the award show is a part of my company. So
Hmm.
we've done 10 shows. And out of those shows, we usually have about 16 people, 16 to 19 people
Yeah.
in each show. And so I had a panel of judges, like we hired a panel of judges to come and like watch every single show.
Where did you find them?
Uh,
Like
so we
five, did
actually
you go
put
on like
something out.
Fiverr?
Say what?
Did you go on like Fiverr.com and look up like
I know.
musical theater judges?
I know, right? So literally what happened was my team, we were like, who has not been a part of any show that we know? Like that we can trust, who's not been a part of anything, hasn't even watched the show. Like I posted on Facebook, excuse me, and was asking people like, anybody want to judge a, do a award show or something, or like
Right.
inboxing me or things like that. So we went through a screening process with them where they were like, yeah, I promise not to like contact anybody, let them know, things like that.
Right.
So then they watched every single show from top to bottom. And then beginning to end. And then they got together on Zoom and they talked. They all wrote like their top like 10 from each show or top
Right.
6 from each show. And then they got together on Zoom, they fought it out, and then they were like, okay, here's our top 6 for this category, this category, this category. The categories are like the Tony Awards.
Right.
So we
That's
have
so
like best
sick.
singer, so that premieres on October 3rd, actually, which
It
is
hasn't
Sunday.
pre- it hasn't premiered yet.
Yeah, it
That's
premieres on
so
Sunday.
cool. I'm gonna check that out on
Yeah,
Sunday. Okay, so this is gonna come out probably I think Tuesday. So I'll definitely watch that this weekend because I'm definitely wanting to
please
watch it.
do.
Yeah, are you gonna be like the host?
Yeah, so I'm hosting it as well as one of my good friends. So
That's so sick. Did you guys like
it'd be
write
crazy.
like a host script, like they do for that sort of thing?
Yeah, so I had to write a whole script,
Bro, the
and
production value for everything you're doing is blowing my mind. Like it's so good.
thanks, bro.
Like do you
Yeah,
ask people for advice about this stuff or do you literally just like research it, YouTube it, whatever?
yeah. So my ideas come from different people. So a friend of mine was like, "I love Motown. You should do a Motown show," and I was like, "Well, why not?"
Right.
So I was like, "Let's do a Motown show then." So then I told my company, I said, "Let's do a Motown show." We put it on Playbill. and backstage, and people submitted an audition for the show, and then we cast it and put it the show. I directed it, and yeah. As far as like asking for help, I do ask for help. Like I'll be like, I can't write this. Like I don't know, my brain's shutting off. Like
Yeah.
the words aren't flowing out the way they need to. Like I need help. So then one of my good friends, Tiara, she'll be like, okay, she can write it. It's like I know she's a great writer, so she'll like be like, actually, try this. Put this word here. Take that word out. Do this.
Yeah.
Do that. And it'll work. I'll be like, great, thank you.
Right.
But I'll
Yeah.
always come with like a big paragraph of nonsense, and then I'll
100%.
be like, make sense.
Yeah,
you know?
that's some of the like the best thing I've learned about like writing a paper, or, like writing a song or whatever you're trying to do, is to just like get as much out as you can and then chop it
Yeah,
down, clean it up, fix it,
right.
Um, yeah, man, that's crazy. Do you think that anything that like you learned I mean, this sounds bad. I don't want to like discourage people from going to school, but like, do
Yeah,
you think that you could have done everything you're doing without school, or do you think that it necessarily helped you get to where you are? Does that make sense?
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I'll say if you've been doing theater for a very long time,
Yeah,
you don't really need school. If you know your training, if you know what you want to do, you don't need it.
right.
Because I didn't go to school for video editing or production editing, anything like that. So
Yeah,
I was doing it.
right.
But for me, I didn't start dancing in theater until I was 16.
Yeah.
So, I was like, maybe college is for me. Like I knew absolutely nothing about anything. So like theater history, those dance classes, especially at Austin P, like the dance training there is top notch. So like I became a better dancer at Austin P that I never would have been. Right, I would not be the dancer I am right now if I didn't go to college.
Yeah, I mean, I attended like one ballet class there or something. Like, I forget her
Yeah,
name, but it's insane, dude. Like, I was
right.
so bad and so underprepared.
Yeah,
It's crazy, man.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy. So, but I do encourage people to go to college. Just honestly to get that college feel. Like even
Right.
if you just go for a semester, like go and see how you like it. Like I mean, party,
Yeah.
live your life. you know,
Because
like
maybe like it benefited you like in a interpersonal kind of way. Like,
yeah,
maybe like that gave you the foundation to be able to like play and wear all these different hats of
yeah,
editing and like talking to people and like
right,
it's coming up with ideas that you come up with. Like, I think
right,
it helped you maybe creatively, and
yeah.
that's kind
Because
of
like
like
I met a lot of
priceless.
people through college,
Yeah.
So like I went to like a lot of people in my shows, especially the first show I actually did shows with because of college, like summer stock, things like
Yeah.
that. I met them at an audition. I met them at college auditions or, things like that. So that actually helped me, in my first show. So, and then through that, you end up knowing 10 other people just by knowing one person.
It's insane to me how small the theater world is. Like, you and I
Yes.
know like 30 of the same people that I have
Right.
never met while also being with you, if that makes any
Right.
sense.
Right.
Like, just
Right.
to name a few, like Annika Burley, like
Yeah.
Daisha, like
Yep.
I could name like a bunch more, I'm sure, but like those are the two
Yeah.
that come to the top of my head. Like, it's crazy
Right.
to
Like
me
I
how
did a show
small.
with them.
Yeah, it's crazy
So
how small the theater world is.
yeah.
And the other day, actually, I auditioned before I went to school for computer science. I auditioned for
Mhm.
like the top acting schools or whatever, because I was like, Dad, I can make it. So I auditioned for like
Yeah.
Juilliard, for example, and I didn't get in, but I met this dude there. And the other day, I was looking at like my friends, mutual friends on Facebook, and
Yeah.
he was there. And I'm like, bro, the theater world is so tiny. It's
That
insane.
big. That big. You have to be careful too. Like you can't be an ass to people because
Yeah,
they'll come back and nip you. Like
yeah.
it's literally that big. It's so small.
Yeah.
Like I have my like on my Facebook friend list, like Facebook, like use like suggestions or whatever.
Hmm.
Like Audrey McDonald's been on there, like Norm Lewis, and like, all these people that I'm like, what the what? Like you're on my suggested list because we have 50 mutual friends.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
you
insane,
know,
dude.
Yeah,
So
it's very small.
what's your since you said you're gonna kind of focus on getting back to like mainly just acting, is that gonna be like after the award show, you're gonna return your focus to that?
Yeah, so I've actually been auditioning a lot lately. The past
Hmm.
couple months, I've been flying back and forth to New York, just like back and forth. Um, but I'm still going to keep the production company up. Like I
Hmm.
have a company manager who loves doing this type of thing. So like I also told him, I said, like if you want to do a show or have a reading done like through our platform, like go for it. I'm not shutting the company down by any means. I'm just
Yeah,
not like putting everything into it,
right.
because I want to act. Like that's what I went to school for. I just graduated. I wasn't able to do it right after school because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
So
right.
I was still act for some years, and
Yeah,
then later when I get a little older, I'll start rebuilding it to like make it something huge.
yeah.
But I'll still keep it for the years that I'm acting, and I'll still do little side things.
I think it has mega potential, man. I mean, like,
Yeah,
I know life isn't all about followers, but like, I think your followers like skyrocketed after you
yeah,
kind of did the production company, and I think it has so much more growth potential. Just the more you put into it, like I don't know if you're making anything from it, but at
yeah,
the very least, you're making like recognition, you're getting eyes,
right.
and so everything that you're getting is kind of being poured back into it, and I think it could 100% skyrocket.
I hope
if
so.
if you if you keep the effort where it's at, even if you're not as
Right.
involved, like because you got a great team, and
Yeah.
I think they'll keep building it. And um, but I wanted to ask, like, what is your plan to kind of get into the acting space? Are you wanting to do Broadway? Is that kind of the goal?
Yeah. So Broadway is like my, top goal. Like I would love to
Yeah,
do it. I love to do TV film, but the way that we all get there is just auditioning,
right.
getting seen,
Uh-huh.
um, things like that. Like once you get seen by one person, that person knows 10 people, and that like I may not have been good for this show, but I'm good for this other show that her friend's doing or that his friend
Right.
is doing.
Okay.
So it's all word of mouth. And it's about who you know.
And
So you have to get in those rooms.
do you ever get discouraged? Like one of the biggest things for me when I was doing like acting and theater in general is it was so easy to be discouraged. And I was talking to somebody about this earlier. I said like there's two things that you need in order to like do something. You either need or you need passion or you need to be good at it. If you
Mhm.
have both, you're really good. If you have one or the other, you can keep doing it. But the minute you lose both passion and being good at something, it's like you got to just quit.
Yeah,
And that's what happened to me with
yeah.
acting. I lost the passion and I wasn't as good at it as a lot of people.
Mm.
So I just had to let it go.
Um, yeah, it's easy to get discouraged, especially when you move to New York or when you go to New York. You see so many different people um, that look just like you. Like I walked into an audition and I saw this guy and I said, "Bro, we look the exact same." Like, like we both had a part on the left side of our head. Like we both had a gold chain. We both were all black. Like we were the same height. He also graduated class of 2020. Like literally the same person. I was like, oh my god. I
It,
walked in
it,
and said, I,
Is it because
I
they
don't know.
just put like the same description in every single way? Like especially for film, I feel like that's even more
Mhm.
apparent.
Right.
Because
Yeah, it's a description. Black male, 5'10" to 5'5", like 5'10" to 6 foot.
right,
Dancer, strong tenor, this vocal range, so they like
yeah,
narrow it down to it's like, oh, this is perfect for me. And then other guys like, this is
right,
perfect for me. And then there's like 15 guys and it's like, oh, it's perfect for all of us.
right. I
So
feel like you just like it's something I've learned recently is you just need to be confident. Like
yeah.
you just need to walk in there like the part's yours. Because if you lose the mental game, like there's no point in even trying at that point. Like you've already
Mm-mm.
lost, right?
Right. Right.
And so yeah, I didn't have the mental fortitude, but it seems like you do, and you're still in
Mm.
there auditioning, and it seems like you're getting stuff too. I've seen you do a
Yeah.
lot of summer stock stuff like that, and
Right.
I think I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but Brenna had mentioned you like could have done a national tour at some point or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So it was it was like it was a lot of them. I've auditioned for like
He said it
12
was a
national.
lot of them.
I've really auditioned for like 12 national tours. I was in final callbacks. I was down to the final 7, and they picked 5 for Hairspray.
Okay.
But I don't think I booked that. Well, I did not book that. I didn't book it because I wasn't tall enough.
Dude,
Yeah.
that
So like the seat,
sucks.
right? Like it's something I can't change. So
You're
like the
like, I
seat
can wear
leads 6'2".
platform shoes.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And like when I dance taller than what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the choreographer and director, they were like, "Oh, you were great. Like we really wanted you, you know, but like our C weight is 6'2", so we needed to go with the guys that are 6 foot and or 5'11" and above." And then there's me and this other guy who were 5'10", and we're like, "Well,
You're like, look, I've seen small men with taller girls. Come on now.
right, right, literally." I was like, "Go on,"
Yeah. I stand on my tippy
but
toes.
right, literally, yes. So
Okay. Gotcha. That's so
so
cool,
that's what I
man.
was in for.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I think
thanks, man.
national tours are the coolest thing. I saw a Bronx was it a yeah, I saw a Bronx Tale as
Yeah,
well as Cabaret, both at the Nashville Center of Performance or whatever. I forget what it's called.
T-Pack,
Yeah, T-Pack. Bro, some of the best shows I've seen. Like they're so
right?
good.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a show at T-Pack. I'm doing
What?
ragtime there.
That's
Yeah,
crazy, dude. Like I feel like everybody that I was talking to somebody else about this on the last podcast. I feel like specifically theater people, they all have that thing Hermione has in the movies, Harry Potter, where she turns the time thing and she can be in multiple
yeah,
places at once. Like
yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
you're in like 15 different shows right now,
Crazy.
and I don't know how you do it personally.
I don't either. I don't either. I just go from one to the other.
We interrupt this program to bring to you our sponsors. Thank you, Monster Energy, for sponsoring this episode. For 0 sugar and 10 calories, you get a lot of good energy that keeps you going throughout the day. Let me tell you, I have about 3 of these a day. We don't recommend having 3 of these a day. I personally do. As somebody that works 8 hours a day in front of the computer and then has to go box for 3 hours, it's good to have a nice little pick me up. So we recommend Monster Energy as your energy drink of choice. Thank you, and back to the program. You mentioned flying
And
back and forth to New York. Is that fun? Do you enjoy that?
yeah, I enjoy it a whole lot. One, because I have friends there. So like I'll
Okay.
audition, you know, like the auditions are usually sporadic. There's usually like one on the 3rd, one on the 4th, and then one on the 9th. You
Yeah,
know, and so it's like you have to stay there for a whole week. You know, then I have
right.
friends there. So I'm like, hey, let's party.
Yeah. And you can
You
also
know?
probably crash with them, so you're not like paying for an Airbnb or anything like that, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
100%. That's
So
so cool.
yeah, so
And
I
now,
mean I
like
really enjoy going to New York.
with the production company, like you could literally throw a dart at the United States of America and you'll probably hit some state that has somebody that you know. That's so sick.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think I've had somebody from every state.
That's insane.
Yeah, we've had people from all the way from California to New York.
And even
Because I
Japan, you said, right? Was it Japan?
yeah, yeah,
When are we going to Japan?
literally, I want to go.
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna I get 15 paid days off per year with my job. I was thinking about just going to Japan for 15 days, man.
do
I
it.
just think it'd be so sick. I
You only
love
live once, you
Japan.
know.
Exactly, yeah. Um, no, that's so cool. I'm super proud of you because again, when I kind of knew you at Austin P, and you might still be this way, like not in a
Yeah,
business way, I just felt like you were super goofy and like silly and like I'm so proud of like how much you've literally just grabbed life by like, and just made
yeah,
it your own. That's so cool, man. That's so
yeah.
cool.
I'm still old crazy, Trust.
Yeah. Still doing flips and tapping and all that.
Literally. I probably have my tattoos in my bag. I don't. I
Man,
should.
I've been wanting to get back into tap so bad. I called a local tap joint where I live in Virginia,
Mhm.
and you kind of know like if you're not doing tap in like a big city or dancing in a big city, they kind of only have those studios where like all the
Right,
little kids go. And so I
right,
called and I
right,
was like, yeah, just keep it real with me. How weird would it be for a 24-year-old to show up and take dance lessons there? And they're like,
right.
well, most of our people are like high school or less. And I'm like, ah. I just
Right.
can't do it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
It
It's
feels too weird.
right. I mean, honestly, if there's a college there, you could probably hit up a college.
Well, see, there is a college, but I was kind of like any talk of tap at the college I went to, because I'm still living in my college town. Any talk of
Right.
tap was all me. Like nobody does tap really. I don't think the tap
Uh,
community is not very good there. But I've
yeah.
been dying to
Takini is
get
not
back
big at
into
all
it.
anymore.
Yeah, I want to get back into it so badly. I love it. You know,
Right.
I
Yeah.
think
It's crazy. Even Broadway doesn't do a lot of tap anymore.
why? It's so fun. It's so good. It
I
sounds
know, and
cool.
it's cool. Right.
Yeah. And it's so it's like it's like jazz for like dance. I know that doesn't make
Right.
any sense, but I feel like
No,
it's
I get
so
what you
much
mean.
more like improvisational than the rest, you
Hmm.
know,
Right.
which
Right.
I love personally. But I feel like, you know, I say that everything in life kind of plays its role eventually, even though I'm not doing theater every day. People say, because I'm boxing now, and everybody's like, bro, your footwork's
Yes.
like crazy. And I just say I did tap
Yeah.
dance. They're like, got it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Dance helps a lot.
if you're ever wanting to get into boxing, you'd probably have an advantage, probably.
But actually, that's funny. I did. I don't box at all, but
Oh,
I did
I saw,
rock box. Yeah.
yeah, I remember you posting about that.
Yeah. That was really cool. So we like learned like some of the technique
Yeah,
was really cool. I was like, hey, this kind of fun. Like when I was a kid, my dad, I boxed for like 3 months. My dad took me and my brothers to box at Golden Gloves, and we all boxed for like 3 months. And like one of my brothers actually did like matches, but we never
that's tough.
did.
That's pretty
Yeah.
tough. Yeah, no, I love it, man. I just fell in love with it. It's the first thing that I've actually like done in my life where it's like I have to do this, you know? And I'm
Yeah.
sure that's probably what you feel with theater. I'd
Right.
guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, it is.
And so like even if some days you're not doing well, or you feel like, you know, there's so many people better than me, you go back just because you love it, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so I'm glad I finally found that, and I hope that everybody finds that thing eventually, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like no matter how good you are, if you love it, you love it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah,
Like, I mean, you want to be good at what you do, but like
right.
you love it, you love it.
And I feel like you think less about the end goal when you're doing something that you just love. Like people ask me all the time, like, you want to go pro? Is that your goal? And it's like, man, I'm just really happy to be here, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
that's kind of what I love about it. I don't know if that's the same in theater, or if you do constantly think about like manifesting that end goal. But for me, it's
Yeah.
just about being present, you know?
Yeah. Like be in the moment, you know? Like
Yeah.
fame comes with a lot. And
Yeah.
I like as long as I'm making money doing what I love,
Yeah.
that's all I care about, you know?
And you're already getting recognized. You can't go down the
Right.
block without somebody be like, it's Treston.
I was like, oh God, what did I get myself into?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's I think you'd be good for it though. I think I don't know if you did TikTok or anything like that, but I think you
Yeah.
definitely have that like persona or
Right.
personality, you know?
Yeah. One day my TikTok just blew up. And I don't really post a lot, but I think I have 25,000 followers on TikTok. But like,
I didn't even know that. But you can just tell.
yeah,
You're like just
but
a
I don't.
TikTok guy,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
There's different personalities that work for it. For me, I can't do well with the short form stuff. I gotta
Yeah.
have like kind of long term. I gotta get value out of it, and I'm just not good at the short term value, if that makes sense.
Right.
Um, but it's so cool. Like I've known so many people that have like used TikTok to like just elevate their brand or elevate whatever they're doing. I had a drag queen on a couple episodes ago, blew
Yeah.
up on TikTok. I have another a guy coming on. He has this persona called Aunt Mabel, and
Uh-huh.
Aunt Mabel is going to be coming on the podcast here in a couple weeks.
Hey.
And TikTok is just so good for that. It's so cool.
Right.
And did
Yeah.
you kind of use TikTok at all with your company?
No, so I didn't use TikTok at all with my company.
Okay.
I use TikTok more for just like kicks and giggles. Like I would just sing songs because people like play piano on TikTok, and
Yeah.
I would just like sing along with them, you know.
Right.
And yeah, that's all I did, and then blew up, and I was like,
That's so
all
sick.
right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you see so many people on TikTok that are like singing and have those like immediate voices where you're like, oh. And you
Right.
definitely have one of those.
Oh
Um,
man, you're,
yeah.
you're kind.
Um, okay, so that's good. And kind of what are the where do you see the company kind of going once you leave it? Like, are you at all worried, or do you trust?
Um, no, I'm not worried. Because like I said, I'm still gonna do some little things. I'm just not gonna do things monthly. Like I used to put on a cabaret every month.
Okay,
Like we had 10 cabarets. I did a cabaret literally every
that's
single month.
insane to me. How did? Because
Yeah,
you mentioned like you've only had this going for like a year, and you've had
right.
how many shows?
10.
10 shows. That's insane.
Yeah. So I mean, I was just popping them out, doing it.
Yeah,
I think I gave myself like 2.5 weeks to edit a whole 2 hour show together and put it
that's
out. So
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, and I know editing, like even editing these like hour-long podcasts, it's so
yeah,
meticulous, and you feel like you're
right.
like going cross-eyed, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And things crash, you get into storage, or
Yeah.
you just never know. Never know
Were
what the beast's gonna do.
were there any days where you just had to walk away from it for a second? You're like, I just need a second.
Many. Many. Like I would be so mad. Like just like anybody who said anything to me, I just bet don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Like don't talk to
Yeah.
me. Because like something would happen, or I would get to the very end, I'd have one number left and the whole thing would just crash. Or
Man.
like my laptop would die and it, like nothing saved. Like,
That
things like that.
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, technology is definitely frustrating in that way, but
I'll
I
never
mean,
forget the first show I did actually deleted the night before the show was supposed to go up.
no
So I was
way.
up all night long, like literally from like I was uploading the show about to like finish it at like 10
Yeah.
o'clock p.m. and then it deleted. Everything deleted. Like everything. So I had to go back and I was like, please be up, please be up. I was like texting some of the folks that like their stuff got lost. I was like, please be up, please be up. And so they were,
Yeah.
I thank the Lord. But I edited that show from 10 until like 5 a.m. Like the sun was rising when I went to
Yeah.
sleep from
But
editing
you
the show.
you know what's crazy? I think anybody else, unless they were getting paid, like I think
Yeah,
anybody else would have said, you know what? We lost our footage. We're gonna push the production day back one day.
yeah.
I think anybody else would have done that, but
Right.
you didn't. So that's what
Now
sets you
I'm
apart, man.
one thing about me is that I when it comes to something like theater, and it comes to something like production or me putting out something, and there's been like everybody knows there's this set date, like everybody's waiting. It's like, oh, the date's tomorrow, the date's tomorrow. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh God, everything has to be good. I have to put it like a week in advance. I have to do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
now my shows go up a week in advance. So like the awards show is already uploaded and it's just waiting to be
Right.
streamed.
Yeah,
You know?
I do the same thing with these podcasts. You just schedule them out. You don't have to stress
Yeah.
about doing it the night before, and you
Yep.
can just let it go live, and you can just kick back and enjoy it, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. What do you stream it on? What do you stream it through?
YouTube. So I edit it on I think it's called DaVinci something or another. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you use that, but I found this
Yeah.
software really good, and then I just upload it to YouTube, man. And of course, like I do
Yes.
clips on TikTok and on Instagram. I have like the
Yeah.
thumbnails and the clips. But
Yeah.
I think I'm just trying to focus on like learning that branding thing that you kind of like already learned, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, with branding, um, put yourself out there. Find other podcasts that you like.
Yeah.
Um, find other podcasts that people like. Like, for my company, I was like, a lot of people like this company. A lot of people like this company. Okay, what are they posting? They're posting this and this. Okay, they're doing this and this. They're doing more charity things. They're doing more flashy things. So I took charity and flashy and put it together. Like
Gotcha.
one of my cabarets was dedicated to Black Lives Matter. So I was like, hey, let's do a show dedicated to that. If you want to donate, it'll go straight to this fund. Like, here's the direct link. Like, none of the money's coming to me, you
Right.
know, all that.
So you kind of
Um,
learned what other people that were successful were doing right, and you kind of try to marry that all into one thing and make it your own.
right,
Yeah.
right.
That's sick,
Yeah,
man.
you gotta have like your own flavor.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's good advice. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the charity. Like, how, like, I know you obviously just told me how you came up with it, but tell me like what it elicited from people or what response it had. Like, I want to know
Yeah.
more about that.
So it was the Black Lives Matter movement. So it happened, I think that cabaret was in June. Like I said, I think it was in June.
Right.
And I was just like, yo, like we're going through it.
Yeah.
I looked up um, this charity that was sending like food and things to like families of people's loved ones who's died, and things like that. And I was like, yo, if we're gonna put on this show, it's no cost. I never charge anybody to watch the shows. I was like, there's no cost. The actors aren't getting paid. I'm not getting paid. Like we're all just doing this for the love of singing, art, and Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you want to watch the show and if you enjoy it, I would love if you donated to this cause. And I was like, it's not a requirement, but if you want to, please do. And so I reached out to the Black Lives Matter movement, or like NAACP, and
Right.
was like, hey, I'm doing this show. I'm gonna dedicate it, to you guys. We're gonna get money filled. Where can I send it? And they were like, hey, thank you so much for this. This is amazing. Please have them send it to this link. It'll go directly to us. And they like sent a bunch of stuff to let me know that it was real.
Yeah.
And so I put the link in the bio for people to do it. In intermission, I put the link in the comments. People could tap on it and go donate. And they said we ended up raising about $1,500.
Seriously.
So yeah, so it was
That's
pretty good.
that's like more than most like when normally when like smaller kind of communities do like charities, like they
Yeah,
raise like a couple $100. Like that's insane that you were able to raise that much.
right.
That's
Which I
really
mean, that
impressive.
show huh?
That's really impressive.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. I mean, that show we had about 200 people watching. So
Wow.
it was
That's
just like,
crazy.
yeah. And so, but like now, um, I think that show has about 4.6 thousand views on it.
Yeah.
Just like from it being up, people going and clicking on it and watching it.
Right.
My highest one I think is 7,000, and it was about 300 people watching it live.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
That's
and
so
it just
cool.
came from like marketing
Right.
myself, just like putting myself out there, getting people who other people knew.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. That's so cool, man. Like it reminds me of, I was wanting to, I don't know what it was. It was my last couple weeks of college, and I was like, I want to just raise some money, right, for like charity. And
yeah,
I was like, what can I do? Like, what am I good at? And I was like,
right,
I like boxing. So I went around campus, and it's so funny to me. I went around campus, and I was like, I will let you punch me in the face with a boxing glove. Like I had my headgear and everything. All
yeah,
you have to do is donate like $1 to a charity of your choice, right? And
right,
so every Wednesday I would go do this, and I think like every Wednesday I was able to raise like $20. So like 20
right,
people would punch me, and it just felt so cool to like use something you're good at for a good
yeah,
cause, right?
right,
And that was just the coolest thing to me. So,
yeah.
um,
And like, yeah, I mean, that's like honestly, and that's a whole brand in itself.
yeah, yeah,
Like you could have gotten a whole article written about you.
right,
Like, I mean, that's just the things. Like, um, it's maybe like going to the extreme, but like if you were to go to like your school's what is it called, like newspaper, or like
right,
whatever they call it, they'll
yeah,
be like, hey, I'm raising money for this charity, I'm letting people literally punch me, like
yeah.
it's like a thing that I'm doing. They'd be like, yeah, tell me more, you know. And then there's a whole article, and now you have 500 people who are like, yo, let me punch you. But it's like now it's
Right?
like, okay, let me find something else to do so I'm not getting my face punched 500 times.
Exactly.
But
I
then
think
you build your community that way.
I think people are so afraid of the first part that you mentioned, myself included, and it's just like being an advocate for yourself and what you
Yeah.
do and treating it as like a valid thing. Like even for me, like obviously I have like the podcast Instagram, and then I have my personal Instagram. It took
Mhm.
like 3 episodes for me to get the courage to like share my like posts from my
Yeah.
podcast Instagram on my personal.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of strength in just like being an advocate for what you do, you know?
Yeah. It's hard because I still really don't post videos of me singing on my Instagram. I get nervous.
Really?
Like people don't like it. Like there's, let me see, I think there are, five videos of me actually singing, like, and one of those is a duet. And it's like, I'll post like literally the best part of the song. And that's it. It's like 30 seconds.
I feel like most of them are from the Black Box from Austin P.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Like, and they're forever ago, and a
Yeah,
lot of times I'll go through and I'll archive. Like, I'll be like, I'm gonna
right.
go ahead and archive this. I don't feel confident. But
And
I'm more confident in my dancing. But I think I'm a better singer than I am dancer.
I think you're really good at both. I think it's really hard to quantify those. Again, I'm not blowing smoke, but you're just
Yeah.
you're good at what you do, you know. But those songs were for juries, right? Those were like the end all be all like term
Yeah.
grades, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha. So that's probably your
Yeah.
best work because you really prepared, I'd imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And didn't you, oh my gosh, do you remember that time when I ran into, I think it was you and Hannah in New York? Do you remember that?
Oh my God. Yes.
That's insane. Like that brings me back to the theater community being so small.
That big.
Like, and then we went to TGI Fridays.
Yep. 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 I remember that. We were there for I think we were singing at 54 Below.
Didn't you and I go see SpongeBob?
Yes. And we did standing room.
And you taught me something that standing room tickets are better and cheaper than the other tickets.
Yep. Because sometimes you'll get this, like, they'll be like, hey, come sit here. Did we get a seat?
I think one of us got a seat.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was you or me. Because
I
I
don't
just
know.
remember standing up, and I was glad I was standing up because there was this larger man in front of me,
Right.
and
I think we switched off.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that was a game changer. I didn't know standing room were so good. Like those were
Right.
crazy good
I
seats.
think we paid like $40 to see a show.
Yeah, it was dirt cheap. That was
Yeah.
crazy to me. No, that was a
So
really good weekend. Like that was such a good time. I missed that.
yeah, it was.
Um, and then going back to it being small, I went to high school in Northern Virginia, and I knew two people. Um, and I was just walking through New York, just straight up walking through New York, and this girl runs out from behind me. She's like, Dom. And I'm like, what in the, and I turn around and it's this
Right.
girl that I did theater with in high school.
Crazy.
And then it's not done yet. And then later that night, when I was like leaving you and I went to like get water at this like place and we got like a burger later that night or something like
Yeah.
that. When I was
Yeah.
leaving that place, I saw somebody else that I did high school theater with in high school just in like a coffee shop. And I'm
Wow.
like, bro, that
Yeah.
this cannot be real.
Yeah. It just happens.
It's so weird.
It's so
Um,
like it's so small. You
yeah,
see so many people.
it's insane to me. Um, okay. So I guess like I don't really have any other big questions. I guess just like business wise, just how have you been?
Yeah, man, I've been really good. Just working.
Just
Um,
working.
yeah, like trying to make money. I want to move to New York in January,
Okay.
and get that life started. So I'm like working, trying to save money to move.
Right. Are you planning to do roommates or are you just gonna try to get a like a flat?
Yeah, so I have one roommate. I actually did the Wiz with her. She was my Dorothy,
Okay.
and so we're both moving at the same time. So
That's sick.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
sick.
it's really cool.
And it's kind of I feel like it's good to have a roommate too, because she does theater and probably wants to like make it on
Yeah,
Broadway too, right? Yeah, yeah.
right,
So it's kind of good to have like that partner in crime where it's
right.
like you can build each other up, hype each other up, you know?
Yep.
Because otherwise
Yeah,
I
and
feel like
like
it'd
we're
be,
also like totally different. We're both black, but like I'm never gonna go in for her role. She's never gonna go in for my role. Like
right.
I'm not a girl, she's not a guy,
Oh
you
my
know?
gosh, I can't imagine having somebody like I didn't even think of that, like somebody that you compete with. That'd be
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah. Can
Because
you
then like
imagine?
they
Like
get your role.
your roommate getting your dream role. Like,
That would be tragic.
yeah,
Or you getting their dream role, like then you
right,
I don't know
right.
which would be worse. I don't know.
I know, I'm like, ugh. Like, all right, but I'm going to rehearsal for your dream role, you know?
Yeah, I'd be afraid to sleep because the theater world can be very cutthroat. So
Oh
like
yeah.
I'd be afraid because I would be afraid of literally getting my throat cut.
Right, literally. Like there's a documentary. I don't know if it's a true documentary. Well, I guess you wouldn't call it a documentary if it wasn't true. But in the ballet world, this girl had put glass in this girl's ballet shoes, and like she went up on point and like cut her feet. So then the girl who did it got to go on stage and perform the number because she couldn't dance. Yeah,
Bro, that's crazy.
yeah,
I feel like okay, if we have to like put it on a hierarchy, I feel like theater people are here, but ballerinas, man, they are even worse.
they're
They will do
crazy.
anything.
Yeah,
And I feel
they're
like I don't,
crazy.
did you ever do cheer at all?
No, I tumbled,
Okay.
but I was around cheerleaders, but I never actually did it.
I feel like cheer is pretty high up there too. I did 1 year of cheer.
Yeah,
It's pretty high up there.
yikes, yikes. Mm-mm. Yeah,
Yeah, but no, it was during COVID, so we didn't actually get to like be on the mat or anything like that. But just
right,
practicing alone, I was like, you know.
right,
But
right.
yeah, man, I'm just really proud of you. It sounds like you've got all your ducks in a row. It sounds like you've got a game plan, and
Yeah,
I definitely want you to keep me posted with everything you do when you move to New York. That's in January, right?
yeah,
Okay. And I guess like are you just gonna try to like audition as often as possible? And
yeah. I'm gonna try to audition just as much as I can.
are you just gonna have like just like a normal job like alongside it?
Yeah,
Okay.
somebody like be a waiter or something.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Be a bartender, bro. In New York, you'll make so
Right,
much money,
so much.
especially as like a theater kid, bro.
Right,
You can tell the people at the bar everything they want to hear and they'll tip
yeah,
you.
right, 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 right. Like a good actor.
Yeah. And you're also like goofy enough and like flirty enough that like you can
Right.
kind of work it, you know?
Hmm.
That's sick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited. I hope that whenever you land something big, or even if you don't immediately, I hope that we can run it back and have another podcast and kind of like
Oh
catch up on
yeah,
where
I
you're
would
at,
love that.
man. You know?
I would absolutely love that.
And where can people find you on social media or like your company and all that?
Yeah. So my social media, all of it is Treston.Henderson.
Okay.
And then my social media for my productions page is Treston J. Henderson Production. So type
Perfect.
it in anywhere, YouTube, Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram, you'll
And
find it.
I'll link it all up there as well and put it in the
Cool.
description, so they can find it there. But yeah, if you guys are interested at all in theater, or if you've ever been interested, or if you just like singing and dancing, check out Treston, man. He's doing big things. He's got a great community, and they're doing big things. And I'm sure you guys are going to do more charity events in the future. So if you
Yeah.
want to donate to a good cause and get to see a good show, check them out. 100%. Thank
Yeah,
you so
please
much
do.
for joining me today, bro. It's been so good
Thank
catching
you.
up with you, man.
Same,
I
bro.
hope we get to
Same.
see each other in person soon. Maybe if we're both in New York, right?
Right. Run into each other.
Yeah, it's probably gonna happen. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.